Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to VALORANT News. Some massive games going down yesterday in the VCT for teams that have struggled so far this season. FaZe, of course, making a change just a few days ago, getting roasted after their defeat. And the Guard, what's going on with them? Can they possibly turn their season around to where they were looking in Stage 1? Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Really upset the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that one. Loads of great support recently. I say it every day. Let's just crack on. Firstly, this from Anna, of course, from the Riot Games side, because a big talking point yesterday was that what's going on with this replay feature that the pros have been asking for a very long period of time, but it's not just the pros, of course, that want this. I know guys like wardell, he wants to make more Valorant content, and he said at the time that he wanted to make an awful lot of it, but couldn't because there's no replay feature, no like demo viewer to do kind of cool stuff with. Now, this guy basically says, look, okay, we hear your feedback, we hear you're frustrated with not bringing a demo viewer, and as he says, it'll take a couple of days to pull together something, but hopefully you can bear with us till next week. So maybe a further update coming through. But as the says, I know the replay system is mainly towards pro play, but you should also consider how much more content would be produced with a full replay system that anyone can use, whether that be highlight videos, skits, funny moments, etc, etc. So yeah, something I'm surprised they're not really, at least like I'm surprised there's not even a timeline for when they could be introducing something like this, but I guess we'll find an update over the coming days with any luck. This I thought was a really cool piece of statistical analysis here, just before we dive into the matches. Just looking at the retake percentages per maps, and the differences this causes on some maps. I do love stuff like this, because it gives you a great idea of what you should do, like how you should set up on certain maps, because look at the retake, like look at Haven, for example, here. Like at the A and C retake percentages are incredibly low compared to B. So like, you know, obviously makes sense, I suppose, but given the way the bomb sites are designed, but if there's one bomb site you want to give up on Haven, give up the B bomb site and try and retake it, rather than giving up the others. And then Bind, for example, like, you know, if you've got the B site over there, you probably want to fight for that very heavily, because seemingly retaking that is very challenging, and on Split, it doesn't really seem to matter. Both are relatively easy to retake in a similar number. So thought this is a really cool bit of analysis. But well, let's dive into the series. Firstly, in the EMEA side, this was a surprising early series here. Fnatic versus OG London United. Like a London United, pretty solid team last time around. But you know, it's got to be said that Turko, I don't know how he even clutched this one. It doesn't even make sense how he managed to win this clutch. But he gets the job done anyway. But they completely demolished them this series. It was 13-4, 13-0 on the second map. So I don't really know what's going on there. I believe there was like a Dota tournament where the OG Dota team took down Fnatic's team, and then they similarly got revenge in this series right here, because this was a ridiculous series. And yeah, Fnatic with their new team. Of course, they made a couple of changes to their team recently, and it seems to be working out for them rather nicely, because they were in a pretty tough group here. We'll look at the standings in a second. But they demolished them, both of these maps. Like at a 13-0 is that you don't see that too often. But in fairness, we didn't get too far away from that in the North American side as well here in a second. This also a much closer series was Team Liquid versus BBL. Game 1 on Fracture goes to a load of overtimes, 16-14 in the ends. And then Game 2 here, it was on a split. There was a kind of crazy round where Nevera and Scream, they had a bit of a fun time trying to get some aces between them. But yeah, Liquid eventually closes out 13-9. So close fought affair. But in the end, Team Liquid just about get the better of BBL. The standings now look like this in the European side. So Fnatic 2-0, OG London 0-2. Like the round count was looking all right actually going into that series. But after that series, pretty tragic. So Fnatic definitely kind of looking their place in already. Just one more series victory will kind of will see them through, especially with the incredible round differential they have after that series victory. And then 2-0 on the other side here for Team Liquid. But of course, plenty more games to come over these coming days in that side of things. Let's talk about the North American side then, right? Because FaZe, they were the big talking point of a couple of days ago when they decided to make a rather surprising roster change after just one series defeat to Optic, benching Poach. Of course, I guess Poised is going to now become the full-time IGL, bringing Flyer back into their starting lineup. Many people question this one. Many people have been wondering, okay, is this possible this team can actually succeed? Just because, like, they relied very heavily when they were going through the open qualifiers on babybay and Dicey to effectively carry them through every single series they played. I must say I've been somewhat surprised by the inconsistency of Superman. I mean, I must say, this clutch is absolutely absurd. The fact he has 6 HP and he somehow pulls this one off. But this guy, when he was on Rise during Stage 1, like, it was such a dominant force, to be honest, in the end of last year as well. Like, you know, he was particularly good. And yeah, I've certainly been surprised, really, that Superman as an individual level hasn't really stepped up massively to where, like, you might expect him to be, because that's the thing. Against the best teams in the world, you're gonna need more than just Dicey and babybay to show up, really, and carry you through some of these series. And Superman should maybe theoretically have been that guy. He had some moments, for sure, like this one, but eventually FaZe tie up this game 11-11 here, but LG win the final 2 rounds as well, and they close out this first game 13-11. So LG, like, they're just looking a really well-oiled machine right now, and FaZe are, you know, just rather inconsistent in terms of their individuals, like, their individuals popping off. Of course, Flyer comes in and plays relatively well, but, and in fairness, it's their first series with him. You might not expect them to do anything great, but at the same time, that raises the question, why would you even make a change like this for, you know, getting rid of Poach, bringing in Flyer if you know that, he's going to have a hard time adapting to that system very quickly indeed. So anyway, LG win this game 1, then it goes to a game 2, goes all the way to overtime, and FaZe force on overtime in the end, 12-12 here on Icebox. So 2 very close maps. I thought FaZe did pretty well, but LG theoretically one of the weaker teams in this group. But then again, you never really know, right? Because that last time out, it was NRG, one of the weaker teams in the group theoretically. Now they haven't lost a map since Ethan's in the team. They're in action, of course, later on this weekend as well. But yeah, FaZe force overtime, but lose the overtime anyway. And as Dicey says, tough loss 0-2 to LG. That's the thing, when you get down to crunch time, you lose both maps 13-11, and then the next one in overtime. It's no doubt pretty demoralizing, right? But understandably, people are kind of clowning on them for getting rid of Poach in this situation. Dazzle says from LG, 2-0 over FaZe. Justice for Poach, hashtag VCT, right? Saying, look, you shouldn't have dropped this guy. Like, Poi says this in the reply, but it is an interesting decision for FaZe to drop Poach after just one series against the Masters champions in Optic right after the first series they played. They then come against LG, lose this one as well. So I'm not really sure what this team needs to do to step back in the right direction, because FaZe, in fairness, have looked better now than they did in quite some time, at least as an organizational level. But yeah, seemingly the Rise trio they've brought in here, at least they had Shanks in the team, now Flyers back in the team, hasn't really worked out all that well for them. They activated babybay and Dicey very nicely in the qualifiers, but that's not really going to be enough against the best teams in the world, especially when B-Dog and Marder are absolutely frying you, as they were in this series. Like, yeah, Flyer played great, says babybay, but of course that's not really going to be enough when the rest of the team looks like this. So yeah, 2-0 victory for LG. If we look at the stats here, like, nothing crazy really to note. I mean, Superman had a pretty good map, and Flyer did okay, but it's a bit interesting, to be honest, and B-Dog, honestly, you got to give credit to this guy, get on the chamber here, because, like, he is a force to be reckoned with, as is Marder for sure. But yeah, that's the thing, really, this team was set up to kind of make babybay and Dicey go off and carry the games. That didn't happen this series, and there was no one else really stepping up massively, right? So definitely some questions to be raised for those guys, because this is a series victory you kind of have to make here if you want to make it through, because if you can't beat LG, you're going to have a tough time qualifying for the playoffs, of course, and even if you come fourth in the groups, you're going to find yourselves in losers at the playoffs, which probably means you're not going to make it through to Masters. But, you can't even have to win like 5 series in a row or something, so it's a difficult time. Interesting results, definitely intriguing perspective on that one. The other series was Ghost versus the Guards. This to me was, if anything, more interesting, just because I thought the FaZe probably would lose that one to LG, just because they've just made a change, questionable as it is. It's going to be, tough to find form immediately after that one. But anyway, Ghost Gaming, they've been here for quite some time. The Guards, could they bounce back from a difficult performance last week? They got blown out by 100 Thieves. Like, of course, this was the standout team ready of stage 1. Is it possible they could perform at this level again? Now, Ghost Gaming, there's been so much talk, even before they even qualified here. Everyone was like, okay, wow, Ghost Gaming, they're the team to beat. They're like the best team in North America in scrims. And, finally, we have to get to see them in action here. And they really performed in an incredibly stellar fashion. Like, they're up 9-1 here on Haven. They were so good on Haven, it was honestly ridiculous. Sire player on the chamber had 4 kills this map. And I must also say, not sure whether these new kind of roles that the Guard are trying are really going to work out, because they've been trying Jonah P on pretty much every single different role, and like the Jet, for example, and like everything else is going on, and Sire player now seems to be on kind of the permanent chamber. And there has been some questions from TenZ actually from the Sentinel side whether he wants to use the chamber, but yeah, still seems like Sire player's on the chamber kind of full time now, which I'm not really sure suits his very aggressive playstyle. I think he was so much more powerful when he was on the Jet full time, but now the full time Jet isn't really actually an option in the meta. You can't use her every single map nowadays. It certainly does indeed seem. There are some Jets coming through, but Jonah P uses her here on the Haven, and it's Sire player on the full time chamber, which maybe is limiting like what his aggression can quite bring to the party, because of course there's such a talented player, but it really didn't get activated at all this game. So anyway, game 1 goes their way. The Guards bounce back phenomenally on game 2 there, it must be said. They go to Ascent, start a 9-0 advantage. They close this one out eventually 13-8. But yeah, game 1 on Haven was 13-1. So all of these maps were kind of blowouts, to be honest. The Guard did at least bounce back on the game 2. Their defensive side was very nice indeed. Like, Valen obviously gets a nice little 4K here to help close out the rounds. And well, Josh says Ghost absolutely went back to sleep, right? They disappeared. But they turned up massively on the final game of the series. Like, this is a fracture. It was a close fought affair early on, but then Ghost towards the ends, they close out this game as well. So Ned made a nice little clutch here. Of course, he was kind of the big underperformer of the series they played last weekend. I think he was like 9-23 on one of the maps, but he certainly played better today. There was some rumors even he was going to get dropped from the team, but I do wonder what this team does as it progresses, because all of a sudden now they find themselves very much back against the wall in this group, because they lose 2-1 here to Ghost. Of course, here comes Jet around the corner, but it was interesting just exactly what the Guard have done. They're trying to make some changes that are going to work, but it doesn't seem like anything is really working out too well for them right now. But it is also nice to see Ghost kind of reaching the level we expected of them for all the talk about this team before stage 2 began. As FNS says, Ghost is by far the most improved team in North America, and even Vanity goes on to say from Cloud9, Ghost Gaming from scrims is here to play. Good luck to the rest of the world. So that's what everyone has said. The Ghosts were unbelievable in scrims. They they scraped through really in the second online qualifier for the main event. And then, well, since coming in, they've been looking rather deadly indeed. As Net says, though, they played incredible on Haven, have to win out from here. That is the thing really for the Guard now, right? They, of course, made playoffs last time around. They won the playoffs. They're theoretically the best team, the number 1 seed in North America after last time. And, of course, they go to Masters, don't have quite the same success, but that was LAN, different environment here online. But they've failed to replicate anything like what they were doing last time around. The meta changes do seem to have hurt them to a degree. They're going to have to adapt quickly because where they sit right now in their group is, well, far from easy at all. Now, Ye's kind of defending them here, and he says, look, team had a really good tournament, community, they're number 1, they're winning everything, their best ever. Like, they start falling off a little bit. Oh my god, biggest fall off ever. People need to chill more, right? So Ye's kind of saying, look, just calm down a little bit. The Guards can still get back to where they were, but it does seem rather doubtful they're going to be able to hit that form again that they were pulling off last time around during stage 1. The final series stats look like this, actually, from the series. Just this game 1, right? Side plays 4-14. Like, yeah, it's ugly most certainly after this game 1. All the maps look like this, though. Nismo, like, a lot of guys on Ghost really turned down massively. Gen.G, you've got to respect this guy because he played 3 different agents on all 3 different maps. And also, it must be said that I feel like there's a small correlation between teams that are trying FaZe and bringing her into their compositions and the teams that win the series. Of course, they did lose game 2 using FaZe, but I feel like that's something that teams are going to have to consider. And Syro on the full-time chamber doesn't seem to be anywhere near as impactful as he has been on other roles. But in treating of respect on that one in the comment section below, the groups then now look like this. So Group B, LG are 2-0. That really, well, creates an incredible affair in this Group B, actually, because Optic, Cloud9, Sentinels, EG, they're all still here. A few of these teams play, of course, later on today. And then Group A looks like this. So the Guard 0-2, goes to 1-1. But the Guard find themselves in such a difficult spot because their map count now, or their round count, is terrible, especially after that Haven, for example. And they got bodied by 100 Thieves last week as well. So their map count is, or their round count is almost like at 0.5. 33 and 60 is tragic. That means they pretty much have to win all their 3 remaining series against xCED, NRG, and TSM, which is not going to be easy at all with the way they're currently playing if they want to qualify, because 2-3 might not be enough with their round differential as it is. Very much intriguing your thoughts in the comment section below. These are the games for today. FPX versus G2, Big versus Guild in the EMEA side, and in North America, these are some bangers. TSM 100 Thieves, Evil Geniuses, Sentinels. I'll take 100 Thieves to win this and get revenge for the matches they played in the open qualifiers, and I might take Sentinels, even though I'm not really convinced about that one. Very much intriguing your thoughts in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit on the like button. Told you YouTube gods, this is a good video. I'd just like you should see it as well, and I've grown the competitive Valorant community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.